Yeah, I think that I hope you saw my hand.
I
I sent
did.
it.
Hi,
Excellent.
Jody. How are you? You're in the office today. It's a Friday. It's about to be a holiday weekend. What are you doing there? Something going on?
Yes, there is. We have cannabis over cocktails, a little bit of a mocktail party.
And what is that in
So
your hands you have? Is that
Julie
a
has created
bacon wrapped
wrapped
water
water
chip?
chestnut. Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Yay,
So
Julie from FL Can.
mhm,
Not only is she a great
mhm.
cannabis advocate, but she can cook some bacon wrapped water chestnuts like she is trying to make money. Well done. Enjoying that, aren't you? So it's
I
mocktail
threw
day.
Julie a mocktail party. Mhm.
Okay, so we're going to be expecting a nice interruption soon, hopefully, but
Only
scheduled
hope.
appropriately. Yeah.
I could only hope. Some of you were here the other week and saw how that went, but
It was
I understand.
perfect. I
It
love
was.
how we expected them to come in with the cocktail the whole show, and after an hour had elapsed, they just pop right in.
Show
And
up with a mocktail.
hey, they showed up, and that's all that matters. So
Hey,
today we are in our round 11 of, I guess we could just say episode 11 of Elevated Intel, giving you and yours just the down and dirty and the relevant information and news, not just in Florida, but nationally. So I've got an interesting Florida this week that
all right.
seems to be kind of hidden in the news a little bit. Florida man. Oh, dear Lord.
Tell
Okay.
us more.
Florida man Alexander Francis of Winter Springs was arrested on 38, okay, counts of election fraud. Now, why is this relevant to the show? He was a paid petition gatherer for the Smart and Safe ballot initiative, which was Amendment 3, the one that did not pass back in November. We did not
Okay.
get the super majority, but he was one of the paid collection or petition collection representatives that were out there trying to get people to sign. And he got in trouble because, according to the press release from the Attorney General's office, Mr. Uthmeyer, I'm sorry. I have to really think about saying his last name. Mr. Francis submitted hundreds of fraudulent petitions, mostly out of the Flagler County area.
Okay.
Apparently, a large amount of over 60 community reported that their information was stolen, and that's how they ended up catching him. But on 38 out of hundreds, okay, is what we're looking at as far as the charges. He's
So
being held
far.
on a $210,000 bond in Seminole County jail right now. But he's facing, and I hope you're ready for this, 585 years in prison because of the mandatory sentences with this type of crime. It's using personal information with a victim over the age of 60. So Florida takes that very
Enhanced
serious.
penalties,
You
right?
cannot be exploiting anyone that is elderly. And so that's adding additional penalties. And then criminal use of personal information. Um, if you add all that up, besides the fact that he's sitting in jail with a $210,000 bond, he's facing 585 uh, years in prison for this.
Wow.
What are your thoughts?
Well, I guess I'm
I
I'm
guess we'll
not
put money
surprised.
on his commissary because that's he's not getting out.
Not anytime soon. We went to supervisor of elections and got some emails from people in the Tallahassee area who had signed the petition. It's all public information. They're people that we thought would be interested in what we were doing in Tallahassee. So we used that as a way to gather data, find like-minded people. And I got more than a half a dozen people who sent emails back with like, I never signed this petition. Take me off your list. And so I had the thought then, how in the world did these people get on our list
Well, how in the
if they
world
didn't sign the
did
petition?
38 individuals over the age of 60 find out that they had their names signed on a petition? Because it didn't pass. It wasn't like he voted in place of them. It was their name and info on the form. Now, I don't know how he got their info, but like, doesn't it sound like a classic old person thing to do? Be like, ah, I'm so bored before Jeopardy starts. So I'm gonna go look up if my voting record is accurate, or if my name is on any, marijuana petitions. So it's crazy that I mean, but this is actually really upsetting. I really hope they don't throw the book at him, but it is
500
going to be,
years.
they're going to use him as an example, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that people really didn't want this. And, part of the news that I am watching on a pretty regular basis is how the opposition to moving cannabis policy forward wants to really use cases like this guy.
Yeah.
There was one this week about, the increase in emergency room visits from mushrooms due to microdosing.
Well, if you're
Uh,
microdosing, well, whatever, that's fine. Go ahead.
well, but if it's not labeled properly, and then maybe but it is not coming out as a public service announcement. It's coming out as a beware,
Oh
beware,
yeah,
beware.
this is
Reefer madness
this
again,
is
right?
be on the lookout. Bolo, everybody. This is a public service announcement, but it's like the after school special. Like with the guy that holds the joints, like smoke drugs. I really thought that with Dare, I'd be offered more drugs as an adult, but I wasn't. So,
That set you up for failure.
I've got one
What?
more Florida thing
You
because
got Florida thing?
Joey Gruters, our favorite, right? Joe Gruters, which last week while we were doing the episode, wonderful things were happening for him. He became the new chairman of the RNC. So we
Right.
have somebody who is going,
Republican National Committees,
oh,
for
sorry.
those who are not Republican National Committee.
If
That's
you
the
aren't an acronym freak like me and you aren't familiar, I do apologize. The RNC is the Republican National Committee. So that means we have a Republican senator that is chairman. He's going to be raising money for things, right? He was Trump's suggestion for the Florida CFO that got passed over because of his enthusiasm for cannabis by DeSantis. Now, what's the best part of this article is Joey Gruters. I'm going to say the OG Joey Gruters of the week. Unfortunately, he is going to take it this week. Talked about his experience with cannabis, and I could
So
not
what
have
did he
been
say?
happier.
Did he like it?
Picture this: Joey
Okay.
Gruters and his lovely wife, whatever her name is, vacationing in Las Vegas, the city of broken dreams, whatever.
Lights.
Like
Don't ask, don't tell.
Sin City. That's what it is.
Sin
Sin
City.
City. So he's like, it's my birthday. I'm with my hot wife. I assume she's gorgeous. And we're in Vegas. We're not in around anyone who knows me. Let's get some edibles. And so Joey Gruder
Nice.
and his wonderful wife took some gummies.
It's
And
totally legal.
yeah, I mean, it's adult use market and he can do what he wants, whatever he wants. And he did.
Whatever
He
you want.
said,
Okay.
all I thought that everyone was looking at me. So there's a little paranoia there.
Little
He said I
paranoia.
got very, very thirsty, like super thirsty. And then I
I
requested
bet
that my
that's
wife
right.
immediately take me back to the hotel room. Now that could kind of go either one of two
I was
ways.
thinking that.
He could be a smooth operator or he could be a panicked cannabis eater. So I don't know.
Take
But
me to bed or lose me
yeah,
forever. Isn't that the line
like
from
I'm really thirsty, babe. Like get me back to the
Top
room.
Gun?
Or I'm really
That's right,
thirsty, babe. Get me
babe.
back to the room. See? Totally different vibe there, But I like to think of him as a smooth operator and
Me too.
the second one. So just wanted to share that wonderful little tidbit before we get into the depressing stuff.
No, and really that was totally important. I was amazed. I got off of the call and that had come through on my feed. And I'm like, wow, how, talk about missing, the headlines
We dropped the ball.
last week. We really missed the headline last week. But for people who don't pay attention to partisan politics, the National Republican, the RNC, however that
The chairman of the RNC, yep,
Republican National
National
Committee,
Committee.
that is the fundraising arm
Mhm.
of the Republican Party at the national level. This is the position that Donald Trump had once talked about for his daughter-in-law.
Yep,
So this is a position that Donald Trump, president of the United States, thinks family should be in. So,
absolutely.
not only did DeSantis pass Joe over for the CFO because of the cannabis thing, because obviously they're on opposite sides of that one. Senator Gruder was the face of the Senate that was wandering around with Kim Rivers last year doing PR stunts, right? But in addition to that, he was also the chair of the Florida Republican Party when they did an early endorsement on Donald Trump over Ron DeSantis.
Ooh, awkward.
Yeah, so when Joe ran the legalization bill last year, we didn't expect to get a whole lot of a whole lot of traction with any Joe Gruder bill, but having him at the head of the Republican National Committee is very, very cool.
So
It's very
I'm
cool.
not sure about this, but I'm going to ask it anyways. If Trump's suggestion to make him the Florida CFO was actually accepted by DeSantis and he was the CFO, was he going to be able to be the chairman of the RNC as well?
Well,
Or is
I
that too
have
much on your
heard,
plate?
can he be a Florida state senator and chair of the Republican National Committee?
Like a
I,
CFO for Florida and a state senator and a RNC chairman, like three things.
well, I see that Hector Ruth, who is our director of strategic planning for Florida Cannabis Action Network, is viewing today. Hector, do you know if have you heard anything about Joe Gruder resigning? Because, Hector stays on top of
Oh
what's
yeah.
happening in the Florida legislature for us.
I'm just
And we do
curious
know
if
there's
you
some
can
special elections coming up.
tap out on like title tap out, if maybe
Well,
being
I don't
skipped was a
think so.
blessing.
Yeah, no, I don't think you can tap out. Napoleon became emperor of the world, right? He was king, and then he was, king of two places, and
We're
then
going,
you get.
we're going that far back. We're
I'm
throwing
telling
that far back,
you.
Jody.
Well, we are everything that the U.S. Supreme Court is ruling on has to be from the 1700s. This week, President Trump said that all new federal architecture has to be Greek and Romanesque. So yeah,
Have
Cynthia,
you
we are.
ever have you ever been personally victimized by Julius Caesar or felt I just
No, but I'm not big on a Caesar salad. Does that
ah,
count?
I just love it. I saw that on a t-shirt at a Goodwill. I was personally victimized by Julius Caesar, but I
Fascinating.
don't think
Not
about the
sure.
Roman Empire as much as you do, and
Yeah,
or
or our
Napoleon.
president
And
does.
I'm gonna do better. I'm really gonna do better. I hope that we can find out because if in the event that being passed over because he's a canna friendly gentleman for the Florida CFO position was the way or the path that Donald Trump felt was like reimbursement because he was passed over here. Why don't you be the
That'd be
chairman of the
nice.
RNC where DeSantis has no say whatsoever? Then I feel like that, yeah, everything kind of evened out in the world is right again and good for Joe. And way to go
Good
on
for
the
Joe.
gummies.
Well, and he has been listening to the MMTCs, the multi-state operators, the MCOs, or MSOs.
MSOs, yep.
So, these multi-state operators that are in Washington, D.C., they've had his ear here in Florida. Whether or not that's good for the country or not, I don't know. We did have a new federal bill introduced today, yesterday. You have that on your
Today.
list?
The
Okay, and tell me more.
40 fantastic Dems that introduced federal legalization, spearheaded by Representative Jerry Nadler of New York and
Okay.
39 of his closest and kindest friends,
Yay.
uh, reintroduced the MORE Act, which is the Marijuana Opportunity Reinvestment and Expungement Act, which, yeah, I wrote it down because that's a lot. A
That's a lot.
lot. Okay.
But
The
we
MORE
call it the
Act
MORE Act.
is
That's
so
right.
much acronym, just break it down, just call it the MORE Act. But this legislation aims at uh, decriminalizing cannabis, right? Which is
Right.
amazing.
Is one of the things it does.
Expunging records. Okay.
Mhm.
It would remove cannabis off the controlled substances, well, controls, remove it from Controlled Substances Act.
Right.
And then also provide grant money to help the communities that were disenfranchised by the prohibition of cannabis. I don't see anything wrong with any of this. This sounds phenomenal. I think this the benefit to the communities that have been like affected by the war on drugs is amazing, because you can say that everyone's been affected, but no, there have been communities that have been specifically targeted and really just ruined by this. And so being able to give back to that is amazing. And I mean, we all love legalization, but if you stop there, you are far from the finish line.
Absolutely. And, the broader war on drugs probably been more important in my career over the last 30 years than even marijuana policy reform. I worked with an organization at the time called Law Enforcement Against Prohibition. When I started working for them, they kind of knew that Jody didn't like cops.
Jody don't like
So
cops.
Jody don't like
Mm-mm.
cops.
We
So
all know
before
that.
I started the job, I used to get in cops' faces here in Florida and tell them where to go. And of course, they would threaten to arrest me. And
Jody.
after I'm telling, there's video. I'm just saying, it's on YouTube.
Oh,
You
hell
should
yes.
look. You should look. Oh yeah, with me in their face, rotundo cop. Anyhow, that's a story for another day. But
Steve,
after
Steve,
long,
I know you're listening. If and you're an IT guy, if you could go ahead and find that footage for me, I will be so grateful.
so, one of the things I laughed because after Law Enforcement Against Prohibition, then I got to tell cops where to go and they would pay me for it. That was much better,
Hell yeah.
much better. But the war on drugs is, one of these things that we have been fighting since before most people were born, right? Uh, and it
Drugs
was
won.
right, right, and we're always going to because they could never surrender, so they were going to outlast all of us. But the war is not over. Just yesterday, Senator Sessions introduced, I'm sorry, Representative Sessions sent a letter to the White House. It was, of course, prompted by the opposition, Save Our Society from Drugs, and Project SAM, Smart Approach to Marijuana, which, of course, is zero tolerance and just don't. But 9 Republicans signed a letter sending it to the White House, which I think is ironic with Senator Grutter as being a legalizer and now in charge of the Republican Party. So it'll be interesting
I
to
think
see
it's
how
weird
things
they mailed
switch.
a letter.
They sent a letter. I am pleased to announce that there was no Florida representatives on that letter, and I think
That's
that's
good to
amazing.
hear.
It
That
is
no, that's
amazing.
actually how it should be, and that's things are going in the right direction. But who sends a freaking letter? Jeff
Yeah,
Sessions, take a letter,
Jeff
dear.
Sessions.
I'd like to send correspondence to the president, please. And
I'm
she gets
sending
in
a
their
letter to
typewriter.
Pam Bondi for this next week. Florida Cannabis Action Network is actually putting a petition in online. You'll be able to get online to Attorney General Pam Bondi about the gun rights because, of course, we've got this case that came out
Oh
last
yeah.
week.
And that's
You
all people
asked
are
me.
talking about in Florida news when you search for cannabis or marijuana. It's great.
Wow. And somebody took the Florida Phoenix article and translated it into Cyrillic, which is like Russian,
Sure. Of course. Obviously.
because we have such a Russian population in Florida that is interested in their gun rights. I found that to be fabulous.
How
Uh,
about that?
guns.com, we are touching all sorts of folks. It's been a really, you asked
We
me
touch
what
a lot
news
of
I was
people.
following. The only news I'm following in Florida this week is the news that we're making, which has been a lot of fun. It's been a really busy and exciting week. But that gun case now, the decision isn't final for another week or so. There's a process where there's a room for appeal and then the notice becomes final. But as soon as it becomes final, we want people to be able to act on it as soon as possible.
Right.
So we're going to petition the Attorney General Bondi. So we'll ask for people to help us with that. So I'm going to write a letter,
To
and we're
Pam.
sending, yeah, to Pam,
Hey,
and I want
Pam.
and I'm sending a similar letter to the Department of State, actually, over the
Okay.
passport form. I don't, travel is important to a lot of our listeners, and certainly it is to me. I'm on my way. You won't be with us next week, and I won't be with us for 3 weeks after that. So, because I will be traveling in Europe. But that
I'll be
passport.
mourning my birthday in
No, you're
sponge
beautiful.
country. So yeah, and you're gonna be jet setting across the
Sponge
world,
country.
Tarpon Springs.
Sponge
It's
country. It is.
obviously
No, I thought,
everybody knows Tarpon Springs is like the
oh,
headquarters, the second headquarters of like the Greek underground lowbrow sponge trade. And I will, don't worry, everyone's getting sponges. Like
okay.
everyone's
Oh,
getting sponges.
nice.
They last for like 15 years. So,
Can
or
mine
six,
be in the shape of a rooster?
you can't force nature to become a shape for you, but I'm fairly certain some of them are. I'm trying to get this. So some of them are decorative and you can't actually use them in the bathtub because they're so
Yeah.
big. It would be comically large to scrub your body with this sponge. But I'm fairly certain I could find someone to carve a cock out of a sponge for you. I got this.
You mean a rooster?
That's what it's the same.
Same thing, only
Same,
different.
same.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty all right. I
That's
hope
what
you
I'm
have a
doing. And
wonderful
where are you
birthday.
going?
My husband is doing a work project in Sweden.
Oh,
So he's going to pack me into his travel on luggage. Actually, he
obviously.
the fun part about his job is that he travels so much that we have points.
I've heard of
So
these. I've heard of these.
it's a real
They
thing.
accrue and then you get free flights. Is that
And then you
right?
get free stuff. Yeah, yeah.
I
So
love the
we have a big adventure planned
so he has
with
enough
free
points to
stuff
bring you out to
to
Sweden
to
for
Sweden,
3 weeks.
and then we're gonna spend a few days in France and a few days in Denmark and a few days in
Obviously,
Barcelona. Yeah,
you
so
can't forget Denmark. Everyone
don't
does.
forget it. Yeah,
I heard
it
the
is my
countryside in Denmark is pristine. What are they known for in Denmark?
yeah, that's a good Iceland.
No,
No,
that's
no,
different
that
country.
no, actually, Denmark is kind of
Iceland.
like the controlling body over Iceland.
What else are they known for? What
I
comes
don't
out of
know.
Denmark? Okay, you're gonna have to
Do you have
find out
any
because
idea?
I have no clue. I'm
No,
guessing
it's
like
not Copenhagen.
miniature miniature tea sets or something. I don't know.
We'll find out. I'll let you
Something
know.
carved
I
animals. I don't know.
So I've used AI to plan routes to all of the thrift stores because of course I can't afford to shop.
I love that. I love that.
Did I mention we're going to Europe on points? So I'm shopping at thrift stores. I thought it would be fun.
Why
And,
not? You could get
and it'll
some
be fascinating.
rinky-dink cheap souvenir that everyone else is going to buy, or you can go buy some dead guy's stuff that probably is way better quality. And
Way cool.
it's not going to be haunted. It's haunted. But I
Don't
bet
get haunted much.
if Denmark has the best thrift stores, I'm going to die laughing. That's going to be hilarious. They don't forget to go
Well, let's
thrifting in Denmark.
there you
Um,
go. So we're
so
gonna have some guest hosts. I do want to let the audience know we're gonna have
oh yeah,
some guest hosts for a couple weeks. You and I will not be back together again until like round 15. I know, right? Don't
I'm going to
replace
have withdrawals. Jody withdrawals.
likewise. Likewise. I do want to thank the folks who have been watching and sharing.
Oh yeah.
Last week we had more than 600 views for the program, so thank you all very much. We're really excited to have a new producer. Steve T from Jacksonville is helping us to get on YouTube and get the news on YouTube even faster. And exciting, we had a landmark. We broke 100 on our YouTube views, and that really is pretty. It's not something that we had been focusing on, was trying to grow our YouTube channel, but we have more than we had yesterday. So thank you all very much, and thank you, Cynthia, for making Elevated Intel happen.
I
I'm gonna
mean,
miss you.
I'd like to say that it had anything to do with me, but I feel like the views are coming for the Jody James flair,
Ah,
the
well,
clicking
we'll see.
and the nails. And
Click. I
you've
haven't
got an
clicked.
audience, you've got a fan club. There are
No clicked.
followers of Jody James. I'm just blessed to be a co-host
You're
and
you're just
humble,
you're just
humble
too
friend.
sweet. You were
Well, we
just
will
too
miss
sweet.
you. But today is not to
Ah,
be sad. Today is a celebratory day. Celebrate so much so that you
okay.
should have a cocktail, but more
Okay.
of a mocktail. So
It's gonna be
I was
great.
supposed to be there, but I wanted to still contribute. So
Okay.
in my Blacktop and Brewer cup, I have created a mocktail, and I will show you what I put in it. It's not, I didn't really, but I brought out my Snoop Dogg red wine. Okay. Cali Red. Yes, that's Snoop Dogg.
Excellent.
They also have a Martha Stewart one. And then, of course, this is in my liquor cabinet. So Snoop Dogg wine and
Okay.
a Joe Biden. Now, this thing, I am not a Democrat. I am not even a Republican. I'm registered as one, but I'm a little bit of a mixed mutt. But I had to have this. I paid a lot of money for this, and I felt like it was necessary. It is
That's a
Joe
no Joe
Biden's.
Biden, right? That's a
What?
no Joe Biden. Isn't that a no Joe Biden?
No, he's got laser eyes. This is from his
Oh,
campaign. I bought this, and that
oh.
money went to his campaign because I wanted this can of water. It's zero malarkey. Biden with laser eyes. It's called Dark Brandon Secret Sauce. Get real, Jack. It's just water. And then on the back, it says Biden Harris 2024. Reminders about the other guy: felony counts 34, bankruptcy 6, impeachments 2, business failures countless. Ingredients are magateers, mysterious orange liquid, and melted chocolate chip ice cream. What is happening right now? Why did I proudly representing Scranton, PA? And then there's osmosis purified water and where it was canned at. But yeah, I bought this for money, and because I thought it was so funny that he had laser eyes, but it's more funny that it's made of magateers. And so I mixed the two together to come up with
Okay.
a Snoop Dogg Biden mocktail, zero
All right.
alcohol, 100% fun in my Black and Brewer tumbler I just had made.
Nice.
What
Uh-huh.
do you have for your mocktail with
Looking
it?
good. Looking good. Nobody has brought me a mocktail yet. So
Is this gonna keep happening? Because I feel like this is the second time.
you
And
know,
can you bird call her?
I bought a bell for the office that I can ring when I need
Bring that
weed.
shit.
I need weed. I left it out in the other room because I figured they needed weed too. I don't know. I don't know. Though I will tell you that I was mistaken about what Denmark.
What are they
Denmark
known for?
they have Greenland, not Iceland.
Oh,
And Steve seems to think that they are known for great beer. So we'll find out. Oh my Lord. It
oh,
is
what
a
great
mocktail.
timing.
Oh my. Cynthia was just telling us about her mocktail. You want to tell me about your mocktail, Miss Polly?
Well, for you, I have a cucumber basil mocktail that
Okay.
we just whipped together. It is
Cucumber basil.
infused with an amazing simple syrup that Josh
Mm.
has actually infused the simple syrups into the drinks. And so it's not oily. It mixes well. It's amazing. Would you like to try it? Try
I
this?
would.
Yeah.
And so this has some sort of cannabis
Yes.
CBD.
So it is made with distillate
Okay.
that is
Oh,
infused into the simple syrup. And
Okay.
Josh is going to be
that now
explaining that
makes
later.
sense. Okay, so
Yes.
I used to bartend before I got into cannabis. It was like it
Oh,
was fun. It was a great time. Mixology, but no, I was a Ruby Tuesday bartender. Let's be honest. Okay, so
wow.
the simple syrup infused part, I love that. Now he's taking distillate and he is putting that into the sugary mixture. Now he
Right.
must not do it while it's hot, or else it would burn off all the cannabinoids. But that must decarboxylate it. And then he's putting the syrup that's now, I guess, enhanced.
Right.
Okay.
Infused.
Infused,
Right, right,
yes.
right.
And then there was mint, basil, and what else? Ah, the mixologist himself.
Cucumber.
How
Cucumber.
did you infuse
Chef
your
Josh.
simple syrup with cannabis? Did you do
So
it while it was hot?
no, I didn't. I started with, so it's a three-part process. Start with your simple syrup, which is infused with the basil and the cucumber.
Nice.
And then I make a MCT oil tincture with the distillate.
Perfect.
And then
That was what
I
I was wondering.
and then I make a super emulsifier. So I use some distilled water and I hit it with polysorbate 20, lecithin, and a little VG. And then while the whole thing's spinning with the immersion blender, I add the tincture into the syrup water blend and it holds really well. It holds overnight. Might need a little stir, but it
So
looks really
use and consume immediately. is
You don't
suggested.
need, I mean, it'll last overnight for sure, but the
Well,
sooner the better.
if you make a big batch of it, let's make sure that you bring some friends. But
Bring
I
friends,
love
that's
that. I
right.
like all of that because yeah, you want to make sure your products that you're introducing are shelf stable. Otherwise, you're going to have a really ugly looking cocktail, but that looks really good. And I love the
This is
basil oil.
beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's sweet, but it's got a little bit of a tang or a tart to it. So
Mine tastes
quite
like
yummy.
sadness. Mine tastes like sad days. My Snoop Dogg and Joe Biden water mixed together
So,
in a tumbler. And no, I'm just kidding. I didn't, it's still unopened. So it's just there for looks. And if somebody comes over that drinks red wine, I don't drink red wine. Plus it's got Snoop Dogg on it. Why wouldn't I buy it? So
so I see that Florida Cannabis Action Network in the chat has put a video of probably with me putting my finger in a cop's
he
face.
found
So
it.
you are winning, Miss Cynthia.
No, I employed Steve to do this. The new member of FL Can that has
Yes,
proven
Steve.
himself incredibly valuable for all things technology driven because he is helping with the podcast and he is helping to get that Jody James footage that we all crave so dearly.
So, I was kind of laughing about everything that's happening in the U.S. and
Oh,
U.S. drug policy, and I know we've had
we have to
fun,
get
but we
serious.
really there's just really well, I don't know if you can take this stuff seriously. So, of course, people should know by now that the National Guard is patrolling Washington D.C., and it's not just the National Guard. Of course, ICE is involved. And the DEA has been involved as well, policing American streets. So much for posse comitatus, but whatever. About a week before they decided to send the DEA to DC, President Trump had made a declaration about sending troops to Mexico to work
Okay.
on the war on drugs. And so it was our troops in basically invading Mexico for the purposes of going after drug cartels. Now, huge problem when I worked with law enforcement against prohibition. You had beheadings and all kinds of stuff. These are really seriously dangerous
Oh yeah.
people. So, might be a good use for it. But I did see in the news this week that one of the Mexican senators had come out on American news and said, well, yes, we really, we look forward to having the U.S. help and having U.S. troops. Well,
Even after we
apparently,
took the Gulf of Mexico from them?
so apparently, well, that was one guy's opinion because two senators came to blows this
Physical?
week. Physical blows. There was a
Oh,
threat of
yeah.
death. There was a death threat, and I understand that before it was over, one of the senators claimed that the other guy threatened to kill him, and apparently 9 senators are on the verge of being suspended. And all of this had to do with whether or not U.S. troops should go in to Mexico to fight the war on drugs. So
That's a lot to
it's
unravel.
it's a lot. This is bigger than us, and it's bigger than cannabis. But I would remind people that the marijuana program, whether you like it or whether you hate it, if you were born before 1991, you remember what it's like to live under prohibition. And living under prohibition was a whole lot less fun than being able to go someplace and work with a quality doctor. I saw Dr. Barry Gordon from
Dr.
Venice.
Barry Gordon's a
Coffee.
G. I love him.
He
Yeah.
is, and he's part of the reason that Joe Gruters is as good on cannabis as he is, because early on, Dr. Barry said, well, what can I do? Well, you get to know the people who represent you. And it just so happened that Joe represented him. So
Yep.
we have, in part, Dr. Barry to thank and Kathy Jordan, both were constituents of Joe Gruder over the
Yep.
years.
They're all both over
Uh,
there. They were. Yep.
So very interesting times, but this is a great big war on drugs. And while the wheel turns pretty slowly, we have
Yeah.
got to keep going. We announced this week that we are ready to start taking people's registration for Cannabis at the Capitol
Oh
and
yeah.
for our Ambassador Weeks. So that's pretty exciting news, I think.
It is
Uh,
it's huge news. We hosted a call with some interesting parties, but if anybody that's listening live today is wondering what the heck we're talking about, Cannabis at the Capitol, participating with Florida Cannabis Action Network in showing up, boots to pavement, speaking up, refusing to put up, and all that stuff. You get to be face to face, a tailored experience that is one of a kind, putting yourself, your viewpoints, your common goals in front of industry stakeholders, legislators, lawmakers, decision makers, and with like-minded people in your area. It is going to be regionally based, so you can get your friends and your friends of friends to go together. You guys can carpool, you guys can road trip and go out there and make some noise. And then we all collab back together out in Tallahassee for the expo and talk about our achievements and how we made a difference. But it's a very unique experience to where every week is going to be different. It's got to be very fluid. It's got to be very easily flexible, because you could have the opportunity to go provide some sort of testimony, to go to speak to your lawmakers, your representatives at any time. You have to be able to go. So you're going to have your talking points, you're going to have your outfit, you're going to have all of your support, and then you're going to talk about what you want from them and from Florida lawmakers as a whole. So it's a very amazing opportunity. I always have a great time getting lost in the Capitol. I was wondering if we could Dora Explora, maybe a map that I could
okay,
that we
maybe.
put in the book for everybody, and it folds out really big, Rand McNally style, because I always get lost.
We will have to work very closely with our printers, but we might be able to make that kind of thing happen. If we have good sponsors, if we have people who come out and support, if we have some angel donors who can help us out because they believe that what we're doing is important. We certainly need that kind of support. I said that I am in the process of doing a pretty big raise for Florida Cannabis Action Network. I'd like to put another $20,000 in the bank in addition to what we raised for Cannabis at the Capitol. Someone said, well, what do you need it for? I said, because I'm tired of the organization tiptoeing when we should be running.
Right.
We have an amazing team that's doing fabulous things. When you go to Tallahassee, whether it's during committee weeks or on January 15th, you're going to be able to talk to them about home grow because we've secured a sponsor for our home grow bill. A really good home grow bill. If veterans issues are important to you or someone in your family, you're going to have a bill to talk about because we've secured a sponsor for our veterans bill. So we're going to have things to talk about. We're going to start early. We want to get our things over the finish line. And the way to do that is have lots of people working on it. We're also going to make sure that if you are homebound and can't get there, that there are actions that you can take during your week, so that you can participate with your community too.
Right. And you can still get your shirt,
Still get
you
your
can,
shirt.
and you can rock the shirt during the whole week, just like you did. But if anybody,
From the
if
future.
anyone can, I know your future shirt, if anyone can get you in front of the people that you want to be in front of, because just going out there by yourself, all alone, and trying to get in front of those people, it's very difficult and it's highly unlikely. So you probably won't make it out of the parking lot. So to find where to navigate, but we do all of the hard work for you. We set everything up. We make sure you're prepared, and we let you speak for yourself. You are not sewing company lines. You can talk about what's important to you, and then we can all talk about what's important to us. So if you're interested, reach out. It is a fun time, and there's always memories to be made. I prefer to keep mine a little private. Some of them might get charges. No, I'm just kidding. I've always had a great time and made some really good long lasting contacts. So I urge anyone who hasn't tried it to try it once. You might like it.
I like it. That's what's saying. But you know what? I will point out that I think you're being very generous with people thinking that they can even find a parking lot by
I know,
themselves.
because there is none.
Yeah, really,
I just want them to know
there's
that if you
close.
try to do any of this on your own, you're going to fail miserably, and you'll probably end up getting escorted out. But if you
So
come with
happy
us,
birthday
we know people.
to you.
Nope.
Happy
Nope.
birthday to you.
We don't celebrate. I'm not
Happy
celebrating the
birthday.
birthday. I'm
Here's
going to
Cynthia.
celebrate sponges in Tarpon Springs. Like I
Happy
said,
birthday.
sponge
2 years.
capital of the world. And you
I-
enjoy
that was
your
funny.
mocktail. I
Thank
don't
you.
think
And
you
Paris.
drank enough of it to get
Not yet.
the Joe Gruder's I'm so thirsty, take me to the room experience. Full circle.
But we're looking for it. Thank you very much for being here with me, Cynthia. I look forward to next month, and we will be having some co-hosts during my absence. We know that
Who's
Carla
next week?
Ashburn. You know what? We're gonna find that out on Monday.
Oh, phenomenal.
So yeah, we have a great team, and so I would wish you a very happy Labor Day
Thank you.
and enjoy your vacation this week. And we will see you next month, and we will see the audience next week. Thank you all for coming in and listening to what we had to say. We'll make sure we get some links in the chat so that you can follow these stories yourself. Again, some rescheduling news. There's more on the More Act, and we're going to be talking with our guests next week. See you next week.
Bye.
Bye, Cynthia.
Bye, Jody.
Support FL Cannon's mission to educate, empower, track lawmakers, and create a fun space for volunteers.